How you doing, guys? Big Mate Dan School here again today, back once again with another Warhammer Thoughty special report. So, what have I been up to? What's this special report all about? It's about these three guys and how I've painted them without primer. Controversial, I know, but in the Warhammer 40,000 Conquest magazine it suggests you apply the paint directly to the miniature. So I tried it. Here are my results. So let's take a closer look at these miniatures one at a time, shall we? Here is one, the Blight Launcher dude. You can see there's a slight shine to the miniature still, but it's much duller than the bare plastic normally is. So I think there are certain areas where the bare plastic is still showing, but it's hard to see because I'm painting it in Death Guard green and the plastic has been dyed a really similar colour to Death Guard green. So it's an interesting proposition, being asked to paint a miniature a colour that it essentially already is. But it's much duller than the bare plastic. What I might do is pick up a Primaris Marine for you and then show you how shiny they are in comparison to this. So here on the left we have a Primaris Marine and on the right we have the Plague Marine. You can see the Primaris Marine is much shinier as I turn it. The light catches the armour and it really bounces off it and lights up the miniature. Where the Plague Marine it's much duller, so coverage is okay bad looks fit on the Plague Marine. There's no real standout shiny parts. Yeah, so it's an interesting proposition. I'll show you the other miniatures now, the other Plague Marine miniatures that I've been painting, and then you can judge for yourselves how well the paint has been applied and how well it's covered. So here are the other two Plague Marines. And again, you know, the coverage seems pretty good. As far as I can tell, there's a few little shiny areas just on the inside of this guy's thigh here. So that's probably where I've missed covering the plastic there, I would have thought. And around the joint there, the back of the knee joint on this fella. The frustrating thing is though, these miniatures, I don't want to keep this colour. I want to paint them in the Horus Heresy Death Guard colour scheme, so it's like a bony white coloured armour with green shoulder pads. So I'll be changing the colours from what these are. But what I might do is keep the shoulder pads this sort of green. It's normally a deeper green, I think, in the 30k Horus Heresy Death Guard. But I'll keep it the Death Guard green and then I'll paint the colour like a bony white armour. Yeah, that's all I've got for you, really. So let's cut back to me, sitting there. And we're back. So, these guys have been painted now. Well, I've applied the paint to them without an undercoat. It was an experiment, really, that I wanted to share with you. And it's an ongoing experiment because part of the reason you apply a primer to a miniature, this is my understanding of it anyway, part of the reason you apply a primer to a miniature is so the paint that you put on top of the primer adheres better, because a spray primer adheres really well to the plastic, where a brushing on your base colour that Death Guard green is, it's Citadel, if you don't know, in the Citadel paint range they have base colours, layers, washes, glazes and technical paints, and dry brushes, dry brush paints, which are just another type of technical paint, I'd say anyway. So yeah, the base colour isn't formulated to go straight onto the plastic, as far as I'm aware and have been educated by Games Workshop themselves through White Dwarf and various other sources from Games Workshop, like the Warhammer Thoughty, the Warhammer TV painting videos and stuff like that. They always tell you to put on a primer of some sort first. Although in the more recent videos they have said you can use their coloured sprays, which supposedly aren't formulated the same way as a primer is. Now, I've used their coloured sprays before and I have no issues with them. But where I'm thinking you might have issues with these, just brushing straight onto the bare plastic with the base colours, is there's a chance when you drop your miniature it's going to chip a bit easier. So it's going to be interesting to do a little test on that in the future What I will be doing though, like I said, is repainting these with sort of bone coloured armour, and I'll keep the shoulder pads green. Might keep certain other areas green depending on what takes my fancy. Because these obviously aren't 30k, these aren't Horus Heresy miniatures, but I really like that colour scheme on the Death Guard miniatures that you see from Forge World. So I'll be painting them in a similar colour scheme to that, a sort of homage to the colour scheme of the Death Guard in the 31st millennium rather than the 41st. 41st. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got for you. I'll let you know how I get on. I might even do a drop test on them to see if there's any chippage or anything like that, but it depends how much time I spend painting them. So once I put the bone colour on, the drop test should really be a lot easier to do though. So I might do it as soon as I've put, not as soon as because the paint will still be wet, but once the bone colour's dry on the armour, I might do the drop test then, because then it'll reveal if there's any chip, because it'll go back to the, if there's a chip anywhere, it'll go back to the green colour of the plastic. So that's it, yeah. That's all I've got for you now. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the battlefield.